Welcome to the Morning Track Power Hour. I am Dr. Andrew Scaff. He is Dr. Michael Warman, Esquire. On today's show, we'll check in on the Kansas City Royals after the All-Star break, see how they're doing in the last couple of games, and talk about their most recent trade ahead of the trade deadline coming up here not too long. But we'll begin today with the Kansas City Chiefs. Three kind of big-ish stories, I guess, around the Chiefs right now. Training camp is just beginning. The Chiefs also signed a couple of major pieces to their roster to longer-term contracts this week. And the Rashee Rice trial has concluded and sentencing has been made. Mike, of those three, what's the biggest story in your mind right now?
Um, Hard to say. I guess since it affects the whole team, training camp starting is the biggest story. It's maybe the least interesting of those stories because it's
Yeah.
starting for every team. It just like we're just
Right.
passing we're just passing a calendar date of I think it started July 21st, so that's just
Yeah.
when it started. So we do have training camp starting, but you can't really see much going on, behind the scenes, and it's hard to say what's going on in training camp. But you
But we know it started, so that's in
you know,
itself somewhat
Camp
exciting because it means
Darlings and things like
the
that start to
season is underway in some aspect, right?
move to the forefront. Yeah. So the season's underway. Um, it looks like I think for the upcoming season, maybe the most important of those stories is possibly the Rashee Rice uh, sentencing. I think he got 5 years probation. He has to serve 30 days in jail during that 5 years, which is interesting. So he can kind of do it at any time he wants. I'm not sure if he can break it up or if it has to be 30 days in a row. I
Yeah.
don't know how it works in Texas, but usually when you're sentenced, you don't really get to pick the time as much when you go. Sometimes they'll say, "Oh, you can start in the weekend," or you can. Sometimes you can get weekends if you're working or something like that. But that doesn't really work for the Chiefs because Rice works 7 days a week and works more on weekends than being in the games.
Right.
Um, so
But
I
there's
would guess
off
we'll
season and
pick
there's
time
stuff like
in
that. Yeah.
March or April of next year or some following year to spend. Or maybe just a week here. I don't know. I would guess he'd probably want to get it over within one stretch rather
Yeah.
than go in and out. But I don't know. Um,
Well,
so
and the league may not allow him to do that during a suspension, though, too, right? So if they decide to suspend him, do you think he would take his month then, or would that even be possible?
I don't think so. I think he'd rather pull. I think he'd rather at least be with the team and practice and train because it's be during the season. So I think spending some time in jail during the season's not going to be a wise move.
Right. Well, I
Um,
think yeah, even if his suspension is coming down, like he still can do training camp and do the preseason games unabated. I believe is how the league usually handles suspension scenarios. Like the suspensions don't usually start until like week one of the season, so
yeah,
he'd still be able to like prep with the team and everything. So it'd be very surprising if he chose to do like the his sentence like now. That'd be shocking, right?
mhm,
Yeah. Unless he's injured or something and can't physically
yeah,
perform.
yeah. So he's gonna wait. Yeah, he'll probably wait until next year sometime. But then we don't know what the suspension's going to be. I've heard, possibly on the lighter side, maybe 2 to 4 games. I've heard that. Um, I think there's still some civil suits pending, maybe against uh, Rice. I'm not exactly sure for damages done and people getting injured in the accident, or at least claiming injury. But I think that will affect the Chiefs the most because he's probably going to be their best wide receiver if he's recovered fully from his knee injury that he suffered. I think it was against the Chargers early last season, week 3 or something like that. So it's good that he seems to be back. I've read things that his connection with Mahomes is supposed to be very good again. At least seen so far in training camp, and he's moving well. He is probably the most dynamic all-around receiver the Chiefs have. Worthy maybe in some is a smaller, he's a littler guy. He's faster than Rice, but maybe not as good at contested catches and
Yeah.
like that. But the Chiefs have some young wide receivers. They have also Juju Smith-Schuster, the veteran. They've gotten rid of some of their old stalwarts. We don't have Nicole Hardman anymore, at least not at the beginning of the season. He might come back like he did a couple years ago. Um,
Seems like he will find his way back, don't you think?
yeah, it seems you never know. Um,
One way or
and
another.
yeah, um, but uh, yeah, who's on the
I think Sky Moore is still around though,
Sky
right?
Moore is still around.
Well, so one of the guys that was always around in preseason, and then what was it, JJ or J? Who's the what? Like, not it wasn't like a regular starter, but he like was sort of around all the time. Not that doesn't sound right.
Cornell Powell, you're thinking of, or
Nah.
Justin Ross?
Justin Ross, that's it. I think he was
Ross.
just really. I think
He
he
was
just
just Justin
requested his
Ross was
release, right?
released. Yeah, yeah. Um,
That was it. Yeah, Ross. That's it.
yeah. Um, just Justin Watson also no longer on the
Hmm.
roster, I believe. He was, been on the roster quite a bit over the last few years, been kind of a third, fourth wide receiver, but never one of my favorite players. He seems to have some big drops and just isn't quite as talented as some of the other players. But yeah, right now I'm looking at the Chiefs.
Oh, but don't
Um,
forget their draft pick though, Jalen
Jalen
Royals.
Royals, yeah. Right now they're listing Jalen Royals as second or one of the top. So they have uh, on the ESPN depth chart, Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, and Hollywood Brown are the three starters.
Hmm.
Then the three backups they have Smith Schuster, Jalen Royals, and Sky Moore ahead of Nico Remigio, Taekwon Thornton, Jason Brownlee, and then Elijah Badger, Magdalena, and Jimmy Holiday, who I don't know anyone on that last list.
Badger's a great name though for a.
Honey Badger. Oh, speaking of Badger, the Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu just announced his retirement today, I believe,
Oh.
on the same day
Okay.
that Ozzy Osbourne died. I'm sure are you sad about Ozzy's demise?
Well, sure. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't. I don't know.
You were you
It
were you were a
really
heavy metal
affects
guy
me that
for a
much.
while. Well,
But
you
yeah,
were
I
more of
am.
a
I am more of a metalhead though. Yes, for sure. But I was never that big of an Ozzy fan. You respect him for his his career and everything he did to like help push things towards his style of metal, I guess. But yeah, I was never that big of an Ozzy fan. I wasn't a huge fan of his voice, I guess. But
or
he had a lot
were
of
you more
really
of a
good songs.
Ronnie James Dio fan?
I
Were you
guess his replacement in Black
Black
Sabbath.
Sabbath? Yeah.
Yeah, they were both pretty good vocalists for that group
Yeah,
though. Yeah.
both have sadly passed away now.
Yeah.
Dio several years ago. Uh,
It's
Dio,
not really a lifestyle that leads to super long life, though, I don't think, is it?
well, so Bob Dylan's still kicking it around. He's in his 80s. Willie Nelson is almost, I think he's 90 now or
I think he
close
is
to it.
90, yeah.
Um, so I'm planning on seeing Neil Young in concert later this summer. He's
Yeah,
80 he'll turn 80 in November. So they're getting up. There's getting to be what older people are. And it seems like there have been a lot of them that have lived that long, even with because all the, most, the Rolling Stones are, many of them are still alive. Somehow Keith
right,
and Mick Jagger and, some Paul McCartney and, the one in Ringo Starr, the Who, Pete Townsend, there are still guys that are up there, but they're now really just up there as old people because they're
right.
late 70s, early 80s. Most of the classic rock early, like the first generation of classic rock stars, and even like, um, I'm sure how old are people like Pearl Jam now? Are they close to 50, late 50s probably, most of
Yeah,
them?
yeah,
Uh,
for sure. Yeah, Eddie
maybe
Vedder
getting
is probably in his 50s. He's got to be in his 50s, right?
yeah. Um,
Dave Grohl from Nirvana, Foo Fighters. He's got to be in his
yeah.
50s easily. Yeah,
Eddie Vedder is 60 years old.
yeah. I was
Uh,
afraid to say that he might actually be 60, but I should have just said it.
Dave Grohl is a young 56.
Yeah. But now, if you remember, Mike, the Rolling Stones show that you and I saw, you remember what anniversary that was for that tour that we caught?
Was that their 50th?
I think it was the 25th anniversary of their farewell tour.
Because it
It was they called it something funny like that because it was
yeah,
like
because
their
we saw
farewell
them
tour
like
and was like
it was about 2014, I think, when we saw them, something like that, 2015. And they made
yeah
it big like 64, 65, so that would be the 50th anniversary of their. But yeah, they went on a late 80s. I think they had a farewell tour. Do
yeah
you remember the
I
opening
believe it
act?
was the 25th anniversary of their farewell tour, which was a tour in itself, which is
Uh-huh.
funny. I mean,
Yeah.
that's fantastic.
Well, Ozzy had a farewell concert just a few months before
Right.
that turned out literally to be his farewell. You don't see that a lot with
He didn't.
musicians. But do you remember? Do
No.
you remember who the opening act was?
I do. So, somebody you did not think would be a very famous singer. You didn't expect him to have much of a career, I don't think.
I didn't know. I expected him because he was playing to a half empty Arrowhead Stadium, who and most of the people were talking amongst each other rather than really paying attention to the music. And we had said, well, he
Yeah.
should enjoy this because uh, when else is he going to play a venue this big and open for the Rolling Stones? This is going to be the highlight of his career. I think though he sold out Wembley Stadium 2 or 3 nights in a row, very soon
Yeah.
after this concert that
Right.
in Kansas City. Uh, so who was the mystery opener?
Um, now I'm drawing a blank. I always draw a blank on his name, but
He's still not, Ed Sheeran still hasn't
Ed Sheeran. Yeah.
hasn't
For some reason, I can never remember his name. Like I recognize his music all the time, but I can never think of his name right away.
yeah.
Like I usually get to it, but yeah. Now, were you a Game of Thrones guy, Mike? Did you watch that
Yeah, I watched Game
series?
of Thrones. Yeah.
Now, did you see the Ed Sheeran episode that he was?
I guess I saw it. I don't remember him being in it. Maybe he?
He was briefly in an episode. It was terrible.
I don't remember seeing. I'm sure he was in. Yeah, I don't remember that episode. I
He
didn't.
was just like a minstrel type that,
Oh,
but it was very pretty. It was pretty dumb though.
that's funny.
Yeah. Anyway, but yes, Ed Sheeran, the unlikely to be a big star. Ed
Yes.
Sheeran. Yes.
Oh yeah, he was in 2017. He appeared in a scene of Game of Thrones. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know which season that would have been. Probably one of the.
So I think somewhere towards the middle.
Maybe it was an early episode. 2017 was one of the was when the.
It wasn't like the first season, but
Oh, season 7. It was season 7. So
it's pretty
it
late.
was the last season. The last season,
Yeah.
which of course was fairly controversial. The last season. I thought the way it ended was fine. I don't know. I don't
Nah,
since what's his name uh
Rashee.
George R. R. Martin is never going to
Yeah.
finish writing the book, so they might as well end the series in some way. So
Yeah. Well, when you pass the source material, like you're going to have some kind of, drop in quality because you, it wasn't the same writer anymore, right?
mhm.
So, yeah, when you pass your source material, you're running a big risk as to what you're going to end up with.
Yeah.
Hopefully, if Martin does decide to finish the series, then he will take some cues from how the show ended and do something different or improve what they finished with though, right?
Yeah. Speaking of George R. R. Martin, how old do you think George R. R. Martin is?
He to me is hard to read for age. He could be much younger than it. I'd still say he's probably like close to 70.
He's 76. He will be
Okay, so
77 in
he's old. He's old.
September.
Yeah. Did you see there was a ridiculous show that had Will Ferrell playing a George R. R. Martin type author that
No, I didn't.
was completely ridiculous. It was like the spoils before dying or something like that. It wasn't
No.
serious. It was like just a ridiculous show, but it was a he played a character named like I think it was like Eric John Rush, but he just
Mm.
like he'd sit around and talk about his books and drink absurd amounts of wine and continue to just talk and ramble. It was pretty hilarious. That was just the opening for each episode, and then they showed like clips of his whatever
Nice.
he was being made into movie. It was a ridiculous show though.
No, I haven't
Worth
seen
checking out on YouTube. You can find his clips anyway. Those are funny.
it. Okay. Oh yeah, I'll look into that.
Yeah.
Um, Back to the Chiefs.
Yes.
Do you want to so we have the new we didn't discuss the new contracts very much. I think we talked about the contract for Trey Smith, the guard who set the record for an interior lineman contract, but they also just signed George Karlaftis to a big contract, 4-year extension, 4-year, almost $90 million. And it seems like Trent McDuffie is going to be next with another huge contract. So it seems like I don't know. Hopefully, the cap keeps growing so the Chiefs can keep paying some of these players. But at some point, you have to think that they aren't going to be able to retain all of their stars, and you kind of wonder um, what they're going to do. But you have to
Yeah.
prioritize and keep Mahomes. But I guess you have people like some of the veterans, like Kelsey's coming off the books in a probably after this year. But Kelsey didn't make money. You know I think he's making $17 million a year or something is his
A modest 17 million.
yeah, which is quite a bit, but not compared to, you have Chris Jones making, over 30 million and some of the linemen making that much million too, that much too. So it's yeah, you don't want the Chiefs to be super super top heavy, and I think a little bit like the Bengals maybe are going to be
With
especially
like their like three or four offensive players that are making up like a third of their whole team's cap.
cap. Yeah, yeah.
Or a team like San Francisco whose cap is going to be totally different now with their quarterback is going to get an actual contract
Yes.
now where he was like absurdly cheap being the final
Mhm.
draft pick
Yeah. Yeah,
now, but now we'll
uh,
now we'll have a real salary.
Purdy's going to make 50, close to $50 million a year,
Yeah.
and yeah, that's a lot of money, a big chunk of the cap, and so that they have to let people go. Chiefs ended up getting Jalen Moore from the 49ers, signing him as a potential starting tackle, maybe not this year or next, but next year after Jawan Taylor maybe leaves, or if Josh uh, Simmons doesn't materialize as the left tackle. So, but yeah, so the Chiefs are spending a lot of money, but hopefully they continue to, they're drafting pretty well. Hopefully they continue to, keep up with the other AFC heavyweights and keep making Super Bowls and trying to win Super Bowls with Mahomes. But it's going to be tough. You can't, is this the year the Chiefs don't make the Super Bowl under Mahomes, or don't even make the AFC Championship game? This is something we can think about as we get closer and closer to the regular season. I think
Yeah.
in some recent uh, power rankings, the Chiefs are number 4 behind both Buffalo and Baltimore in the AFC, and behind the Eagles in the NFC. Makes sense why they'd be behind the Eagles, as the Eagles won the Super Bowl, but um,
Right.
you could say, well, why are Buffalo and Baltimore ahead of the Chiefs when the Chiefs have beaten them in consistently in the playoffs. So
Right. And not always in the regular season, but always in the playoffs, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, so we'll have a lot of the little interesting storylines for the Chiefs coming up over the next several weeks. We'll also have our NFL quarterback previews that everybody, I'm sure, likes to tune into as we go along. Those will start in 2 weeks, and we'll go through all the quarterbacks on every roster and every team in the NFL over the next month, starting in 2 weeks, and then the week after that, we'll have our final NFL preview, and then it's the regular season that starts early September. So we only have about 6 weeks between now and the start of the NFL season. But um, before we segue into baseball, is there anything else we want to talk about with regard to the Chiefs? Because
I don't think so. Yeah, I think that was. Yeah, I think the only other big NFL story was I think Will Levis is injured, will be out for the season. Although I'm not sure he would have been a starter, but
he may not have been the starter. It might
necessarily.
have been
Yeah,
Cam Ward, the number one overall pick
right.
by the Titans. So that's probably who they wanted to start. But yeah, maybe Levis still has a shot, but not now with his injury. But so the mayonnaise man is down. Famously, Mr. Levis is known for his love of mayo, which is grosser. Patrick Mahomes' love for ketchup on everything, or Will Levis's mayonnaise on everything.
Uh, I'm not. I'm personally not a fan of either. So,
Neither am
but
I.
I find them both to be gross. But mayonnaise to me is more disgusting than like
I'd
ketchup.
say so too. I think mayonnaise is one level above ketchup. I don't know. Ketchup's I think kind of. I don't like ketchup really. It's just more controversial. I think ketchup's more universally loved than
We're
mayonnaise.
we're the outliers here, I think,
Yeah.
on this or to most of society, right? At least American society.
I think it's because because we come from Kansas City and we put barbecue sauce on everything. If we
Yeah. To
I think
me,
if
to
I
me, that's the barbecue sauce is the only appropriate condiment.
well for
So
French fries and stuff, I would always prefer barbecue sauce than any
yeah,
ketchup or and man they like of course mayonnaise in Europe for pomme frite. So
gross.
yeah. But well, speaking of gross, the Royals game tonight is not going terribly well. Looks like they're going to lose.
It is a final now. They
It
did
is a
lose.
final now. What was the
Yeah,
final score? 6-0.
it's 6-0 the other. Yeah, 6-6
Um,
shutout today, and
yeah,
committed three errors defensively. So not a good game all around for the Royals.
but the Royals did play well the night before, winning
Yes.
12-4 over those same Chicago Cubs, who have one of the best records in the National League in Major League Baseball. The Royals have been kind of treading water, maybe slightly drowning, since the All-Star break, as they are now 2-3 since the break. 4 games under 500, 4.5 games out of the wild card now.
But yeah,
Um,
they picked up a game, I think, on the wild card from the break,
yeah,
even
so
though they're only 2-3.
they're not doing too badly. They're trying to, they're not the other teams aren't pulling away,
Right.
fortunately. But yeah, so are the Royals? Do you think are they going to be buyers or sellers at the trade deadline coming up at the end of July? Dr. Scott, what's your opinion on that?
Well, yeah, there's been one, I guess, small signal that they may be buyers and that they've already made one trade where they traded a prospect, Cam Devaney, to Pittsburgh, your Pittsburgh Pirates, Mike, for
Good.
old Royals friendly face, Adam Frazier, a known quantity who wasn't a very good quantity while he was with Kansas City. Is that
No, yeah. I think they wanted to shore up the outfield any way they could. And at least Frazier
and second base, I think,
in second
too.
base, he's a
Yeah,
veteran player. He can play a number of positions. Um, I think Devaney was somebody who was like that, but he's not a spring chicken himself in terms of prospect age. He's 28 or something like that. So,
yeah, I think
um,
so. 28.
but yeah, Frazier's not an upgrade, but maybe you have him because maybe there are other trades possible down the road. You think maybe they trade one of their sort of prospect, another prospect-ish player? Like, is Nick Lofton gonna get traded? Um,
John Ray, the trade piece,
yeah,
potentially.
it's not going to be Cags traded, but somebody, one
Yeah.
of the some of the other players maybe for an more established uh, hitter. Royals need outfield bats, or is it maybe are they paving the way for a Seth Lugo trade? The Cubs it seems like have wanted Lugo in terms of from what I've read. Um, he's Lugo maybe the best available
Hmm.
starter if the Royals decide not to be buyers at the trade deadline.
I think he's by far the most likely or and probably best trade piece that the Royals have, but I don't know what they will get for it. So that's what I always worry about with the Royals, Mike. Can they find somebody that's worth taking in a trade if they do send him somewhere? Because yeah, if you look back at just even some of the last more recent trades, the Royals don't seem to get very good return for their players.
No,
Like even just a few years ago, I think we were talking before uh, our show started today. We mentioned the Andrew Benintendi trade, which was I believe 3 years ago, and the prospects they received still have not gotten close to the major leagues, which is kind of a long time for development for a major league player that you traded, right?
yeah, he was traded almost 3 years ago to the day, July 28th, 2022. And the Royals got three prospects left: TJ Sikkema, Beck Way, and Chandler Champlain, none of whom,
Way and Champlain, I think, are at AAA now, but they have not had good
yeah,
looks so far.
none of whom are in the Royals' top 10 prospects at this point.
No. Yeah, but yeah, I mean they traded a major league, an active major league player for like low A or lower prospects
Yeah.
in that trade, which is seemingly way too far down the minor league hierarchy to for major league talent, like an established major league player. So I don't, yeah, if they did something like that with Lugo, then I don't know when they'd be expecting these players to like make it to the majors because it's going to be, well into your expected, time for the Royals to be like contending for a World Series. They've got Bobby Witt, who's a young player. The window is open right now to make deep playoff runs. And if you're not getting players that are going to help you during that run like early on, then I don't know what the point of making a trade is. So
Well, maybe the idea is that's why you keep picking up uh, over the hill veterans who are still hanging around, like Rich Hill, who maybe you pitched pretty well tonight. All
yeah.
things considered, only allowed one earned run.
Mhm.
Uh, the Royals have been now the 14th team that Rich Hill has played in the majors for, which I believe was a tie for the
Yeah.
record. I don't know,
Yes.
Jamie Moyer maybe or somebody like that had
I think
also
so. Yeah.
played for 14 teams. Um,
Which is,
yeah,
one shy of half. So it would be great if the Royals could trade him at the deadline, just so you could get set the record, have him by himself, and get a
yeah,
15th team in there, right?
yeah. If the Royals could trade Rich Hill for a slew of prospects, yeah, that would be great.
Now, okay, so now if the Royals traded Rich Hill and they got like low A prospects, that wouldn't be terribly surprising.
Yeah,
But I mean, a guy 21 years in the major leagues, that's a long career. This is not uh, an everyday player for several years. This is a rental for the rest of the year, maybe, right?
yeah,
But Lugo has another year on his contract, so the team that would get him would be expected to get the rest of this year, a playoff run, and another season out of him before they either decide to retain him or let him go or in free agency or make a trade themselves. So yeah, that's you have to get value for that, though, Mike.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
But
Um,
yeah, yeah, what your return is going to be very different based on how long of a contract you get with the guy that you're receiving too, right?
yeah, yeah, and I think Lugo though I think is in his last year of the contract, so he might not get.
Oh, I thought he had another year.
I was thinking it was a mutual option or something like that. It
Oh, is
wasn't
that all it is?
wasn't something you can. I'll let you look it up, Dr.
Yeah.
Scav. I don't think it was, or there was a player option. It was some sort of option, which I think the Royals would take, but I don't know if Lugo would take.
It's a $15 million player option for 2026. Yeah.
It's a player option, so um,
it'd be up to him. So if he decides he wants to play another year, then the team has to oblige, right?
yeah, yeah. So I would say he's probably on the market, probably going to make more than $15 million next year, the way he's been pitching for the Royals these past few years. So a couple of
Yeah,
years
I mean,
now.
some of that depends on what he wants too, right? Like if he wants
Yeah,
to retire, if he wants one more year and he wants going to retire, then he might just pick it up. If he's wants like to pitch like 3 more years, he's probably going to hit the
yeah.
free agent market.
Yeah, Lugos, he's 35 right now. He'll be 36 in the offseason. Um, but yeah, you might want just another run, contract to just get a little bit more money for, just family and retirement and things like that. So, probably get one more 3-year contract or something like that. Maybe 3 years at, $60 million, something like that, is still on the table for him. So that would be a better deal than just filling out the $15 million for the Royals. So, but maybe the Royals would sign him to a longer contract too. Who knows? Um,
And they have done that with kind of older pitchers too. Like when they've got Waka's on the team right now, but he's a little bit younger, I think, than Lugo.
what is Walker? He's
He's like
probably about the same age, isn't he?
he's 33, maybe 30, 32.
Like, yeah, Walker is 2 years younger. He's 34. He just turned
Okay.
30, he just turned 34. Uh, but Walker, it seems like he's been around forever because he started so young with the Cardinals. Uh,
Right. Well, and we heard about him, and he's been a starter his whole career, right? So
yeah,
Lugo was a reliever, so he may have a couple extra years in him just because his wasn't worked as hard as as many innings for,
right.
the first 5 or 6 years of his career. He wasn't throwing 200 innings a year. He was throwing like, 50.
Do you know where Michael Walker was born? A city that you do not care for. I'll give you that much.
Was he from St. Louis?
Not from St. Louis.
Oh,
Another city you don't
KCK,
care.
Kansas City,
No,
Kansas.
no.
No,
You shouldn't alienate half of our audience, Dr. Scaff, by saying you just.
oh yeah. Well, I'm in Kansas City, Kansas right now. So.
It's a city in your home state or your original home state.
Oh, is he from Iowa City?
He's from Iowa. He was born in Iowa City.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
He grew up a Chicago Cubs fan.
No.
When he was 3 years old. They moved from Iowa City to Texarkana,
Mm,
Texas. So he
mm.
so he's a Texan primarily. And he went to Texas A&M University, but he was born in Iowa City.
I have said though, like if you were to apply like a map of Middle Earth to the U.S., that Iowa City would be Mordor.
Mordor. So is Iowa City bigger or smaller than Ames, Iowa, in terms of population?
It's weird because it might be slightly bigger, but there's like another town that's right next to it too. Coralville's right next to it. So I don't know what they count as just Iowa City because there's like a
Cor-
big shopping district and stuff. And like,
Coralville is a suburb of Iowa City, part of the Iowa City metropolitan statistical area. Coralville,
yeah.
22,318 people, is the 25th largest city in Iowa.
So they count it completely separately then in that.
Yeah. So Ames and so Iowa City, one of these cities is the fifth largest city in Iowa. One of them is the ninth largest city in Iowa, although they only differ by about 8,000 people.
Yeah. I would guess Iowa City is slightly larger.
Because Iowa City is 74,828 according to the most
Oh,
recent
so Ames
census,
is bigger.
and Ames is
Oh,
66,427, slightly smaller.
oh, okay.
So
I thought
Ames is
Ames had gotten closer to 90,000, but
perhaps it's metro area.
maybe they count some kind of metro if they include some of like the surrounding towns that
According to the 2020 census, I'm looking at. So
yeah.
we're halfway to the 2030 census already. Uh,
If
and
they
Ames,
if they do it, that is.
yeah, Ames has grown quite a bit in the past
It's probably
uh,
one of the things on the chopping block though, Mike.
20
Would you
years.
be surprised if they just got rid of the census?
Oh, well, it depends on who's in charge. Well, well, they want the census to, but I don't know what they'll do with the census. But yeah, Iowa City uh, hasn't grown quite as fast as Ames, but it's grown also quite a bit over the last 20, 30 years. Uh,
Yeah.
Iowa City was founded in 1850s. 1839, Iowa City was created in 1839, uh, fulfilling and that was it was originally a capital of Iowa City.
Yeah.
I guess that was, did you know that?
Yeah.
I guess you're an Iowan, so you would, of course, know
Right.
that. Um, but yeah, Ames is in Story County,
Yep. Obviously.
founded in 1864 as a stop on the Cedar Rapids and Missouri Railroad originally, which ran from Cedar Rapids, Iowa to Council Bluffs, Iowa. And Ames was a stop on the railroad. Uh,
Oh, okay. I was like,
it was
they said
named after,
you said it was a Cedar Rapids and Missouri Railroad. It's like the Ames would not be on the way to Missouri from Cedar Rapids, which is odd.
on the way to the Missouri River from Cedar Rapids, I guess is what they meant.
From from
Cedar Rapids to Council Bluffs. Would
that's going west though. Oh, to the Missouri River, not the Mississippi. Yes, the Missouri River,
Yeah, Missouri River, not Missouri.
not the state of Missouri, but to the Missouri
Yeah,
River, like straight west. Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, that would be true.
And it was named after 19th century Massachusetts Congressman Oakes Ames,
Yes.
which is a strange person to name a city in Iowa
Oaks.
after.
Yeah.
Oakes Ames. Oh, he was I see why he was important. He was credited by many historians as being the most important influence in the building of the Union Pacific portion of the Transcontinental Railroad. He was a railroad promoter. Um, He's also noted for the subsequent scandal that alleged the credit mobilier scandal that he was involved in during the Grant administration. So he was, uh, yes, the his father was a blacksmith, Oliver Ames, uh, and they owned a shovel shop called the Ames Shovel Shop in Massachusetts, a big 19th century industrial complex, and he was known as the King of Spades because of his shovel business. That was the father, Oliver Ames, Senior. He they It became one of the largest family fortunes in New England because of their shovel making. But anyway, Oaks Ames was part of that uh, family. I don't know where the name Oaks came from. It's probably in there somewhere, but
Yeah. Yeah. Is that a hyphenated last name or is that a Oaks is the first name?
Oaks is his
Ames
first
is
name.
last name?
Oakes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I can picture it being like a hyphenated name too. Something Oaks
Yeah,
Ames, right? But
yeah,
no.
Oaks Ames. Oliver and Oaks Ames were in, involved in the building the Union Pacific, and they're commemorated in the Oliver and Oaks Ames Monument at Sherman Summit near Laramie, Wyoming, along the original route. So it's a pyramid uh, sign, designed by famous architect Henry Hobson Richardson, best known for his Richardsonian Romanesque style of architecture of the late 19th century. But he designed many projects for the Ames family, apparently.
Wow.
So there's also a city of Ames, Nebraska, which only has 224. Actually, only has 24 people. It's an unincorporated hamlet, but also probably named after Oaks, Ames. And there's a major street in Omaha named Ames Avenue. So there. Anyway, what were we talking about before we went to discussing Iowa City? We were talking about Michael Walkup being born in Iowa
Oh,
City.
Waka. Yes.
Um, we didn't say where Seth Lugo was born, but uh, probably not someplace as disliked as you. He was born in Bossier. Is it Bossier City or Bossier City, Louisiana? Oh, it's
Uh,
pronounced Bossier City, Louisiana. It looks like
obviously.
Bossier,
Yeah.
Bossier City, Louisiana.
I think that was what high school he went to. He's from Shreveport, this
He's from
says.
Shreveport. Okay.
Yeah.
It's tied to it's right across the river from Shreveport,
Oh, okay.
Bossier City.
Oh, sure. You don't know that. What did you think of the Frazier trade then? Were you all in on free Adam Frazier? Or do you think he's
Um,
just another utility guy that doesn't have much value?
the utility guy doesn't have much value, I think, but I don't know if it's a worse trade. I think you don't want to give away prospects, but again, Devaney isn't that much of a prospect, but you kind of
Yeah.
wonder, you want to make a trade to really improve. Like it's just sort of I think a nothing kind of trade, but maybe Frazier,
Yeah.
maybe maybe they just thought each player would do better with a change of scenery. I don't know.
You think it was odd that they called up Devaney, but then didn't use him at the major league level before trading him? You think he had more value without having seen a major league pitch?
Well, maybe they missed. Maybe the mystery gave him value. He didn't turn out to be a bad player up in the majors, so we don't know what we have. He could be a great player, so
Right.
it's a mystery box that we're trading for a
But odd
known
though, right?
for a
They called him
known
up for
not
like,
so great player. Yeah, batting 201, I think this season was Frazier. Although Frazier did come
oh,
through very quickly in his first major league game, hitting a go-ahead double in extra innings. Of course, the Royals blew it in the bottom half of the inning, losing that game to the what who I don't remember who the Royals were playing.
Marlins.
Was it the Marlins? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. They did not play that well in a couple of those games. They scored, I think, 7 runs in two of the games and lost one of them, and then didn't score any runs. Or scored just one. They got one late run, but still lost like 3-1, something like that in the
yeah.
in the,
We'll,
in the
we'll, we'll
middle
see
game.
how the
Yeah.
Royals turn things around or don't turn things around in the next week or so before the trade deadline. We can talk about the trade deadline next week when on the One Trick Power. Do we have anything else to discuss this week? Are we we've gone off topic a few times, but I think it's because we don't have a whole lot of more news to convey this week. We talked pretty thoroughly about the Chiefs and about the Royals and about, of course, the city of Ames, Iowa, a place near and dear Dr. Scaff's heart. He's wearing his Iowa State uh, quarter zip uh, athletic shirt. I'm not sure. It's not
Right.
a fleece. It's not a sweatshirt. It's like it's
Ah,
some sort of
some kind of
space age
pullover or
polymer
something, right? It
pullover.
is. Yeah, it very much is. It's very lightweight, very stretchy. Yes.
Similar to what an Andy Reid type of Chief shirt that I own. But of course, this one the logo is not covered by the zipper like my when
Right.
the lapels cover up the Chiefs logo on my Andy Reid Chiefs shirt, but yours
It's at the right level, I think,
is the
here.
right level. Yeah, so it's
Yes.
superior design.
Oh
Um,
yes. Yeah.
Speaking of superior design, the Warning Track Power Hour will be back next week as usual. But anything else before we sign off, Dr. Scaff?
Hmm. Maybe one last guest. In the next week, where do the Royals have to be for them to be buyers versus sellers, Mike?
I think if they're still within 5 games of the wild card, they should be buyers. Uh,
Yeah.
because they think they can. I don't know. I don't think they should give up on the season. Uh, that early because I think they can, it depends on, I guess, a number of things. Maybe there's an injury or two or something like that, but we're else think, oh, we're going to be sinkers rather than swimmers. Um,
Yeah.
we should do this, but you want, because like you mentioned, we have Bobby Witt Jr., one of the best players in the league, even if he's having a kind of average season for him this year, but he can turn it around and heat up. Um, but
Which he
the
has tended to play better later in the season in
yeah,
his short career so far.
yeah.
There
So
has been a tendency.
maybe the window's still open for, like you said, a playoff run. So why not go for the fences and try to, but the Royals, also don't have much of a farm system to deal away to get quality players either. So it
That's what
might
the risk is.
So you might be a slash buyer slash seller thinking, okay, we can sell Seth Lugo to somebody who has a very good outfielder that maybe is not maybe would be a fourth outfielder on some good teams, but maybe would be the one of the top players on the Royals. Um, Maybe that's what you trade for. Um,
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of what they are
Aaron
hoping for
Duran,
is they get somebody that, like some of their pitchers get healthy again is really what, because they've
yeah,
got like so many injuries right now that they can get some of the guys back and they have a, shot at making a run if they can just get enough players back.
yeah.
I think Massey even has made it back to the to AAA now, I think, from
Hmm.
on a rehab stint. So he may be working his way back at second base, which would be nice.
Yes. What also would be nice is a next week's Roaring Morning Trek Power Hour episode, which we will, of course, get to next week after signing off tonight. Uh, as always, I am Dr. Michael Werman. He is Dr. Andrew Scaff. We are the Morning Trek Power Hour. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is available, of course, on YouTube, and or our podcast, which is available on many different podcast delivery platforms, uh, including the one that you use, most likely. Unless you're some sort of weirdo. We're on all the major podcast delivery services, so it's easy to find the Warning Track Power Hour. Just search for Warning Track Power Hour. That's hour with an H. Not that you are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Unless you're talking about our Warning Track Power Hour, which would be,
Well, no.
I don't know, that first hour. Yeah. But that's confusing. Oh, it's not too confusing. Maybe Dr. Scott can put the graphics up on the YouTube channel to make sure that everybody knows what the Warning Track Power Hour, how to spell it. Um,
Yeah. Well, I
uh,
mean, it
of
is
course,
in it's in the title of every episode.
it is. Of course, our listeners also know how to spell basic English words for the most part, unless perhaps they're using the Warning Track Power Hour to learn English, and then we've offered them a
Oh,
interesting little piece of how English can be a strange language where many letters are silent, and you have homophones, homonyms, things like that.
oh yeah.
So we never cease to inform and educate as well as entertain here at the Power Hour. So, and we hope that you, our legions of viewers and listeners, enjoy your weekend. And if you're making bets, we hope that they uh, are fruitful and multiply your income. And we especially wish you luck as long as your interests do not conflict with ours. And we don't really have any betting interests this weekend because the NFL season hasn't yet begun, but that's going to come in several weeks, and we'll have a NFL preview begin starting in 2 weeks. That'll be a multi-week preview for the NFL, and we'll also have continued coverage of Major League Baseball. So we've all that to look forward to over the next several weeks, and until then, we'll wish you a good day.